Thank you very much. So Miss Universe Ghana, she's going to represent Ghana in May, God willing, and she's bringing the trophy home. We'd like to take a keynote address from our Miss Universe Ghana. Now, she hails from Keta in the Volta region. She's 25 years of age, and she is a communication executive and has been working with an NGO before Miss Universe. And then this is a project that she has put on her heart to help. And then also we are praying that it wouldn't end here. Honestly, permit me to say this, but I think this is the first time I'm saying something of this sort. Like Miss Universe bringing out a project, Miss Universe Ghana bringing out a project and it running throughout. And I'm praying, and I hope you're also praying that this project wouldn't end here. It's going to go to generations, to generations, to generations. Please put your hands together for that. So without wasting my time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to welcome our Miss Universe Ghana 2020 to give us a keynote address in the person of Miss Chelsea Tayui. Please put your hands together for her.
Good evening, or afternoon. Distinguished guests, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me into your homes and into your offices this afternoon. Welcome to the launch of our Autism Awareness Campaign. I am Chelsea Tayui, Miss Universe Ghana 2020. Here, this better. I want to thank the director and organization of Miss Universe Ghana for giving me the support to be able to launch this platform. This campaign is a clarion call to each and every single one of us. To parents, to families, to teachers, to educators, to politicians, to faith-based organizations, and most importantly, to communications at large. Today, I stand here to say, I wear this crown with a profound honor to salute the families of children with autism and to call out our communities, our countries, and our continent to stop the stigma. Stigmatization hurts. Stigmatization is another form of bullying. The heartbeat and pulse of a nation is felt in how it treats the weakest in our society. We will have to do better. We will have to recognize that we as people are created in one image, the image of God. Therefore, no one, no matter what the circumstance is, should be stigmatized for any reason at all, whether or not it's in their control. Parents are forced to hide their children because of the stigma, because of the judgment, and because of the stares. Because we as a society have not supported them. Our regular school systems do not have a curriculum in place for the children with autism. Our caregivers, our social workers, are not certified to support these children with special needs. I implore you to treat them with kindness. I implore you to include them in your activities. Autism is a communications disorder that can happen to anyone. It used to be 1 in 30,000, but now it's 1 in 54. So, what that means is, more than likely, you will either have one person in your family or one friend who has someone in their family who is somewhere on the spectrum. And you may not even recognize the signs. As we launch this campaign, we are humbly asking that you search within your souls and you see the world through their eyes. They have needs just like you and I. They hurt just like you and I hurt. Let's all meet them where they are. Let us hold their hands and walk through this journey together. They are beautiful just the way that they are. Created in the perfect image of God, some of the symptoms we need to be aware of are as follows. If you notice your child or a neighbor's child or even a friend's child is not talking by age 2, sound the alarm immediately. If you notice they have repetitive behavior and have difficulty communicating or focusing on one task at a time, don't stay silent. If you notice they're walking on their tippy toes and flapping their hands and only eating certain things and have sensitivity to different textures, this is a sign that there may be more that is going on. Invite them to your birthday parties. I will never forget my 8th grade graduation party. It was 2 weeks till the event. And I realized that throughout the entire stay in school, I never noticed Gwen in any of the parties given by the other kids. And so I decided that Gwen would be at my 8th grade graduation party. Gwen had a serious disability, and at the time, I wasn't even sure about what it was exactly. Now looking back, I realized she could have been somewhere on the severe side of the spectrum. When I called her mom to invite her to the party, I could sense a serious defensiveness in the voice of her mom. But when she found out the reason, it brought tears to her eyes. Gwen attended the party, had an amazing time, took so many pictures, and bragged about the party to her family as to how she did not want to leave because she was having such a great time. This is where we start, everyone. It's the little things. Each and every one of us can show love and kindness. Let's take the time to show these families support, respect these kids, such that their parents do not have to hide them. Every time you see this logo, as we journey through this campaign and beyond, I want you to think of a child on the spectrum, or of a family dealing with someone on the autism spectrum. Let's all take that responsibility to educate ourselves, such that we don't have to waste valuable time blaming it on some spiritual mishap or ancestor, or some auntie or uncle in the village who may be angry. Let's all see the world through their eyes. Awareness is key. Spread the word effortlessly, tirelessly, incessantly. Educate your friends. Let's use our faith-based communities. Let's make this a tabletop discussion. Let's have all hands on deck. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the media for being here and for being so kind. I want to thank God for bringing all of you here in one piece, peacefully, and I want to thank you all for listening intently to what autism really is all about. But most importantly right now, I want to thank God for sending me my baby brother, William, because without him, I wouldn't even be standing up here and talking about this. So, I want to hold on to this topic and never let it go, because through your voice, we will slowly eradicate the stigma of the people. With autism. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. Thank you for supporting the Miss Universe Ghana organization, and thank you for being a part of my incredible journey. Let's pay this forward by being a voice for the voiceless. Let's be a beacon of hope for these children. Let's be the one nation on Africa that sets the standard on eradicating the stigma so that no one on the autism spectrum has to deal with it any longer. I look forward to the day where we launch an Institute for Autism Excellence in Ghana. Please be our voice for these voiceless children. Thank you to the Miss Universe Ghana organization. Thank you to Bolare. Thank you to DBJ. This could not have happened without the support of you all. Thank you, team, and thank you to everyone behind the scenes. May God richly bless all of you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again I'd like to say thank you to all of you for making the time to be here this afternoon with us. Before we go ahead, I'd like all of us to acknowledge and congratulate Michael Tete, who took over the first part of this event. Please put your hands together. I'll say thank you to all of you because in our African society we're taught and brought up with the norms that when anybody does something, no matter how small or substantial, you still have to say thank you. So we're saying thank you ahead of time because we do appreciate that on a Friday like this, in the middle of March, there are 3 billion things that you could invest your time in, but decided to be a part of this, to invest in this worthy cause. And we're very grateful to you. Chelsea is grateful to you. The Miss Universe Ghana Foundation is also grateful to you. And the whole team is grateful to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to know that family is always the first port of call when it comes to support. When I walked in here and I saw Chelsea's uncle, who's a seasoned politician and immediate past CEO of the NHI, I said, oh, this is great company and we surely will be heading somewhere because everybody comes across here, comes with us and realizes that everybody, especially in the smaller circle, are pushing and adding their weight to this. It's so gratifying, and I'm sure that in a few years to come, this will be a very great success story, as Michael said. So let's do it one more time for everybody who's done massive support. Well, they've been introduced to all of us, but I think it's good, protocol-wise, to do it all over again. It's my pleasure once again to acknowledge the presence of Mary Amwakofo. Please put your hands together for her. So Mary is the founder of the PICS Foundation, and most importantly, is a mother of an autistic child. So she comes with a wealth of experience from the point of view of having a biological child living with autism, and also from the point of view of someone who's rallying society and all resources together to help all of us manage this condition. So we say thank you to you. And of course, the lady of the moment who emerged Miss Universe Ghana 2020 in a time where the whole world was heavily challenged in terms of movement and in terms of managing the health situation that COVID-19 had brought us. But what a way to mark her reign as Miss Universe Ghana. Well, coincidentally, I happen to be the host of this great pageant, and it has given us, the light and the opportunity to meet beautiful people and very committed people like Chelsea. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Well, the not so tall, semi-bald gentleman imposing himself on you this late afternoon is Nathaniel Patel, and I'm glad to be here in Hong Kong as well. It's my hope that together we're able to send a wonderful message across to everybody to come along with us, come along as Chelsea inspires all of us and drives all of us towards this journey. So once again, you're all welcome. It's good to see you. Chelsea, are you okay now?
I am.
Yeah, I can imagine I can imagine some of the thoughts, some of the things that are going through your mind as you shed tears. But it's good to sometimes let this out so that everybody can appreciate where you're coming from.
Absolutely, yes. And more importantly, so everyone can really know that it's not a put on. You know, a lot of the times most pageant queens pick a cause just to pick one. But when your heart is involved in a cause, it makes it a completely different story. And sorry, I don't mean to cut you, but I remember when he was born. In our town, like, it's tradition that if you're in school and your mother gives birth to a new child, you then bring the child forth to the school just to show it off to everyone. And because he had to stay in the hospital for 4 months to grow, I couldn't do that. So some of my friends started to be like, well, were you lying this whole time that you had a new little brother? I'm like, no, one day you'll see him, one day. And you know, he's about to go to university, so I'm really proud of him.
Wow, lovely stuff. And to bring relevance to all of this, it's important that I also state that I have friends, very close friends, who have children who are living with autism. And I see the commitment. You know, I see some of the everyday challenges they face as well in managing this. And I believe that there are very strong hearts out there. There are very committed people out there whom we all need to reach out to. And this initiative by Chelsea, obviously, is a wonderful one which will bring all of these forces together so that we will move towards a certain direction. Auntie Mary, I want you to tell me about noticing, the very first time that your child was autistic. Take us through the thought process and how you processed all of this and realized that this was your new reality.
Hello.
You can transfer your microphone.
It's a very emotional afternoon for me. I would have loved to show Nanaya's picture so that we will see that autism is not a physical disability. I pray that I'm not going to try. I'm really going to try because this is a cause of my heart. I got married. God bless me. I thought and saw marriage was not what we see in the Nigerian movies. So, I was very excited. A young teacher from training college, and, having a husband, you like to show up a little bit. So I have a first boy, then I have a second boy. So the third time I prayed to God. So I prayed to God, and I said, God, bless me with a baby girl. God indeed blessed me with a beautiful baby girl, and I have one. And so 2.5 years, we just started talking. I remember very well we were at a brief. I was teaching at PWTC, Presbyterian Women Training College, at the demonstration school. And so I started talking, and I was so excited. And just before she turned me, I noticed that she started flapping her arms. Then she started looking at it from the corner of her eyes, and she would usually hold her hand like this and watch through the hand folded like this. So usually my mom would say, very free as home or the literally, like, your child brought something very important into this world. So that is what she's holding. Little did I know that it was some of the signs of autism. But, and I was a teacher at the time. I've never heard of autism. And one thing that really did strike us at the time was, she used to say, Mama, Dada. Just before she turned to me, she had stopped saying these words. So immediately I said, what has happened to my daughter? friend of mine had been confined in St. Mary, in the South compound. In other words, maybe somebody spiritually might have done something. So I know my husband don't believe in all these things, go to see pastors and the rest. So quickly I consulted, and I had pastors telling me to go to Achimota market. I should go at 6 o'clock in the evening when everybody had left the market. The pieces of food on the ground. I should just pick it up, bring it home, and give to my mother to eat. Literally, what that means is that her destiny is not fighting with anyone. So, if anybody at all would take food on the ground and eat, what at all are you going to struggle that with? I did that. Then the other one told me to go to, if you know Techiman very well, if you don't know me, there's this river between Techiman and Kintampo, where they have the festival. I said I should go and fetch some of that and give to my daughter. So I told my husband I'm going to visit my mom. Fortunately, I can't from the mom weekend, so it was easy to cover that with the visit. I did. When you are frustrated, you do anything. My daughter was so beautiful. And come to think of it, that she was not going to talk. So I came back. The last one that really, I said to myself, I'm not going to see any more of this after. Before that, I had seen a lot. If I have done 21 days at Gupon, I went to Montero. I did all these things. But the last one said I should buy 3 white handkerchiefs. Now at 12 o'clock on the dot in the morning, I should go to the bathhouse with my daughter, and then I should use the 3 white handkerchiefs, to bath them. But when we are coming to Amaidu, we should walk backwards. The first day was successful. The second day was successful. The third day we go fair. So it means that whatever I've done, it was then that I said, no, whatever it is we need to. So I told my husband, and around this time, my husband would not say anything because my husband had come from Canada at the time and said, he teaches chemistry at Achimota School. My sons were doing so well in chemistry. My first son went to medical school at age 15. Charles became a doctor at age 21. And I'm so, proud in saying it. And here you are with this beautiful, Yamuna is so beautiful, that is it. On the outside, you see nothing wrong with my daughter, isn't it? Autism is not a physical disability. That's why we are here today, and this is very important. And so my husband said, Nana, you're going to be the best chemist in Ghana, and I'm going to make sure that I teach you. So he bought this kit of chemistry kit, and then here you are with a 3-year-old who is not saying anything yet. 4 years, he was not saying, 5 years, 6 years. So it was 6.5 years when I actually convinced myself something is not right. But around this time, I was very, very protective. You dare not come here and say something was wrong with my daughter. So to cut long story short, finally it did hit on me that we needed to see a doctor. And so we were introduced to a speech pathologist. We went there, and the first person to say, Madam, have you heard about the word autism? I said, yes. And she said, your daughter may be on the spectrum. And I said, what can we do? Is there some medication to give to her? I said, no. It's a lifelong disability. And she needs to go through therapy. Between Ogo Clinic to Achimota School on that day, it was the longest trip I've ever made in my life. We were both very quiet. And you know what? My husband did not utter a word. And I kept saying in my heart, I refuse it in Jesus' name. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Where this is coming from should go back. So all the verses I knew in the Bible, I repeat Satan. And Autism started showing on my face. 6 years there, I was still not potty trained. 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, she was still not potty trained. And she started administrating. So 9-year girl in diapers, administrating, that was too much for my mother. And my husband told me, you need to drop your work, you need to stop working and take care of her. And it's been 18 years. Yeah, it's turning 18 in 3 weeks. So happy. We have changed through. from not sleeping at night. Even as I talk to you today, we have not slept enough at night. She's going through a lot of hormonal changes. She's speaking on her own scale. She doesn't feel the pain. Yesterday, she pushed me to the ground. She was attacking me. I didn't even know what to do. But my dear, this is the reality. This is the reality I live with on a daily basis. So, in a nutshell, that's how I found out. Sometimes I wake up at night and I just switch on CNN. So I could just hear maybe they found a cure for autism. As it is now, I need to feed her, I bath her. She doesn't even know when she's menstruating. I need to change that. And that's a lot. It's like having a child who never grows. And no parent, it's something you wouldn't even wish on your worst enemy. And then the stigma. I have had people ask me whether I've been unfaithful to my husband. I have had people, and I know they mean well, because you know sometimes they're like, Mary, now when you see her, she will do, are you sure you didn't take money from someone? You know, are you sure you didn't take someone? You know, and autism is in Ghana. Maybe people might think that I run an early intervention center. We started only on the 23rd of August. As I talk to you now, I have 38 children under 5 years at the center. We have an adult facility, and they're so beautiful. You have been there, you have seen them. Autism is breaking marriages. Autism is taking our lives from us. And so this is a great opportunity and a great platform, you know, to talk about the issues. It is time to voice it out. Talk about what we go through on a daily basis. If I'm to go through my challenges, I'm sure we'll not live today. And I'm sure that you know me well, you're going to join me in the fight. That is my daughter for you. God doesn't make mistakes. God does not make mistakes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. For us, or for many people, it may just be that word in the dictionary that has a definition. But for some people as well, it's the daily reality that they have to live with. Now, Chelsea, I want you to tell me about the stigma of it and how you've had to live with it all these years, especially considering that Auntie Mary mentioned that, you know, in our typical African and Ghanaian society, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, especially when it is noticed or realized that there's a child within the family who has it.
The sensitivity with all, it's like a mixed bag of emotions. You don't really know how to process it at like one at a time, you know? It's something that takes a lot of strength, takes a lot of determination, but it takes a lot of effort. You know, it takes a lot of hands-on work. So that's really the long and short of it.
Well, once again, I'd like to say thank you to all of our friends who are also joining us virtually from, you know, different places. We'd like to say thank you to everybody for, you know, being a part of this. It's a very long journey that we're all traveling together, and I trust that with the right support, we can get there and we can all help Chelsea to make maximum impact with this autism awareness campaign. Now, let's get into the setup of your organization, how Chelsea's work marries in well with yours. You've told us about the numbers, which clearly are going to increase with time. But what's the setup like? What is needed to make even bigger impact?
Thank you very much. So they say that behind the child that makes the most progress is an active parent. When it comes to autism, it's a spectrum disorder. It affects every child differently. So there are tons of therapy, you know, that a child needs. One child to be able to make progress will need an occupational therapy support, will need a speech therapy support, will need a dietitian to draw up, you know, will need sensory integration. So this one tiny child needs pool of professionals. And if you have to pay this from your pocket, trust me, because anything that takes money away from you so much is autism. And so, and then there's also the stigma, because like I said earlier, this is not a physical disability. Where you look at a person and in your mind, you know the challenges. Like the pictures we saw of Nanaya, on the outside she looks like any regular girl. But then when you get closer to her, you see the deficits. So I am looking at, a place where we would have parents, a place where parents can just walk in and receive training. Because you want the parent to have the training to be able to make informed decisions and support the child. Because like I said, it's a spectrum disorder, it affects children differently. What worked for my child? Even if I'm not going to see a therapist, what kind of intervention would work for this child? Yeah, at a point she didn't want to, wear clothes. She wanted to be naked. So she wants to work barefooted, she doesn't want clothes on. At a point I was like, what's wrong with you? I see them wait everything out. I mean, sometimes we think you have all these stuff. She speaks to herself. And like my mom will say, I don't want to hear that and she's talking to herself. And you begin to think, but it was only when I had training that I thought, well, she has sensory issues. So whenever if she was here, she was going to go like this, cover her eyes. The lights are so bright for her. Even the microphone, you go only like this. Until she become very accustomed to the environment, very difficult. So how do parents even understand it? If I don't have the money to pay for this therapy, to pay for occupational therapy, can't I do something? I was fortunate enough to apply for scholarship abroad, and I went for training, not once, not twice, about 4 times. It was paid by an organization. So when I came back, especially on the issue of her not wanting to wear clothes, I started with what we call sensory integrated therapy. So I got sand, I got this, I got things with different textures. I had different bowls with different colors. I had soapy water, warm water, and then she needed to walk through this, from soapy water into warm water, into cold water and all that, 15 minutes each day. Okay? I needed to use Play-Doh, corn dough, for her to touch things, because there were times she didn't even want to touch her food. Sometimes she wants this thing, she doesn't want this. She will not allow you to brush her teeth because she could not cope with the feel of the crystals around her gum. She couldn't feel it. And, it's very important that you have brushing every morning. She wanted certain kind of food. She doesn't want onions in her food. And all these things. Who doesn't eat onion? Okay? She doesn't want this. And so it puts a lot of pressure on you. So my question here is, if the parent has got that training, or there's a place where they could walk in and receive training, even if you're the poorest, at least you can do something for your child. Because my child has made a lot of progress because I have been fortunate enough to receive training. So we've overcome her not being able to wear clothes. Now she's even wearing heels. You understand? She didn't want to hold spoon. Now she's eating rice. She didn't, I think about 17 years until she started eating food. But she has so much sensory needs, so much sensory issues. I remember when the boom started, as soon as the light goes off, she would come and hold your hand, push you to where the switches, and say on the light. She still doesn't understand that we have lights off. And I said, yeah, I don't know if I can do it. I cannot put the lights on. She still doesn't, and it became, a task between. So we need a place where you can hold and practice our enjoy. And I'm not ashamed to say this. I have gone through depression. I remember what my husband said to me. I'm sure that very soon you're going to deny knowing me. And he said that, literally, but what he meant was that it was very difficult. There was a point I didn't want to see anyone. Nobody should come closer to me. Now there's corona, you can't come to my house, stand outside, talk to me. And I was becoming very paranoid. And so my son said, Mom, you are practically just throwing everybody from this house. You can't live here alone. And I was becoming very angry with him myself. I didn't want to come out. And so one time she came and said, look, take it easy on yourself. I'm going to stay in today. Take time out. Just go out. Walk around. Take the day out. Just forget about autism only for a day. And when I took that hours and I came back, I was so angry with myself. It never even occurred to me that what I was going to do was some sort of depression. And so I started receiving parents. And there are a lot of these parents around. You see us with all the nice makeup, but it is not well. Where do you even open up and talk to? We have this culture of being, the more you let people know your trouble, it means you are less of or something. And so you need to walk confidently around, even when you are dying. Somebody says, elsewhere when you start crying, they will offer you a tissue. In Ghana, when you start crying, they say, oh, Jaisu, stop crying. You know, people, why are you? But it is okay to cry. Sometimes even crying, you know, brings out the pain.
Sure.
Autism is breaking marriages. I see every single day. Parents fight in my presence. And sometimes I just keep crying. I don't know what to say. So I know with all these platforms and the awareness you're bringing in, imagine a place where parents go in, talk to counselors, talk to the professionals that matter. That is going to make a lot of difference. Let's even look at inclusion. Some of our children, so autism is a spectrum. We have some who are very, very good. We call them the savants, you know, the Einsteins and the rest. You know that those scientists were on the spectrum. We do have some children on the spectrum in Ghana who are extremely good, but they have social deficit. These children can go through the mainstream school. But are the school environment prepared for these children? Because there's a lot of bullying for those that we have transitioned into the schools. Can we have teachers that are being trained where we could just load them to this school for 2-3 hours in a day, where they could support these children in the mainstream school? So maybe Nanaya goes to school just twice a week, just 3 hours instead of the 5 or 6 hours. So there are things that we could do. But then, like I said,
Is the society ready?
exactly.
Very well, very well. I will give you the final word, Chelsea. Clearly, from what Auntie Mary has told us, we have a rather broad scope of work when it comes to this. You have taken this upon yourself to push as hard as possible, bring society together to run along with you and see the broader picture, which feeds into the mantra of the world through our eyes. Can you just briefly tell us about the kind of support that is required to get this campaign from this stage to the next, where you want to see it?
Thank you. So the world through our eyes essentially is a focal point of you shifting the narrative that you have in your mind of what autism looks like, or what it should look like, or how, just delete everything you thought it was before. Take the time to do research extensively and just know that research and data and empirical evidence get updated on autism about every 6 hours. There's currently a doll in the United States that I'm working on bringing to Ghana. It's called Milo. And there's something about Milo's data that attracts children with autism to him. His expressions, his mannerisms, his sensory communication, all of that. I don't know how they were able to come up with it, but I was very impressed when I saw it. And so what I would really say to you is have research in front, but have your heart next to it as well. The two combined are unstoppable. So that's what I would really recommend for everyone who's wondering, for everyone who may have been a bully before, but now they know what it is so they can make that change to make an impact in the world. So kindly, I need all your support. I need all your helping hands that I can get. So thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much to talk about when it comes to autism. There is a lot to think about as well, and there is a lot of support to give. But of course, for a gathering like this, what we need is the brief conversations, the general overview, so that we can all know where we stand regarding that whole big mix of support to push this and make this work. I'm very sure that many of us here, and all those who are also joining us virtually, and for that matter, by extension, all those who will be exposed to what we're doing today, will be a part of even bigger platforms under this initiative to make sure that we move the advocacy at an even faster pace. So on that note, I'd like to say a very, very big thank you to you, Mrs. Mary Before. Ladies and gentlemen, please appreciate that with another big round of applause. And to you, Chelsea, what can I say? I remember that during the partial lockdown, I kept having conversations with Mrs. Medine and Tari about the event and how we could move it forward and how we we're going to come across the winner. And here we go, a young lady with so much passion running in her and so much of a resolve to want to change something about the way we see and view autism as a society and as a people. Ladies and gentlemen, one more warm round of applause for Chelsea. So this wraps it up, and at this time, once again, I'd like to say an extended thank you to all of you here for making the time to be here with us. And as I've mentioned already, as time goes on, we will be calling on you at various times to come along with us, just like you've done during this period, so that we can continue pushing this forward. Remember that there are a billion people with such ideas scattered all over the world, but it only takes people with the resolve, people who have research in front of them, but their hearts at the side, just like Chelsea has said. So once again, we'd like to say a very big thank you. You can always count on my support, and I know that support cuts across with everybody else. So at this time, we'd like to do a few videos of endorsement from certain key people, after which we can call this a wrap.
Well then, our Chelsea, young and vibrant as she is clearly doing the best she can. She has taken this challenge head on. But it will take a village. She cannot walk this road alone and be successful. The least we can do to honor her efforts is to come alongside her, we the community, we the people as they say, and support her. As she tries to raise awareness, as she tries to raise funds, we must use whatever platform we have offered to us, be it social media, in our churches, in our communities, in our schools, help to raise awareness so that finally we can find solutions, palpable solutions, which will change the lives of very many who are struggling with autism, either because they have a sibling, a child, a neighbor who is having to deal with the effects of autism. So let us all come together, support her as she does this launching on Friday, March 19th, and support her all along the way, staying faithful and offering our services in any and every way we can.
Hi, Chelsea. As a speech language pathologist, I wanted to thank you and wish you well as you launch the Autism Awareness Campaign. The lives of children and their families affected by autism will be so much better as they become knowledgeable of the condition and the resources that are available. We know that early intervention programs, treatment with therapists, specialized school programs, family support programs, and augmentative or alternative treatment sessions are critical for growth. Again, congratulations and thank you for all that you're doing to promote autism awareness and treatment.
Hi, Chelsea. As your younger brother, I wanted to thank you for all that you're doing to promote autism awareness. I know that our family was changed when I was diagnosed with it at the age of 2. The best thing that happened is that Mom and Dad realized that something was different about my development, and they worked hard to get me into a special school where I received speech therapy and occupational therapy. Because of all of the support that I received, I will graduate from high school in May. We'll be getting my driver's license next month. I'm beginning to plan for my successful life after high school. You're always there pushing me to do my best and helping me along the way. And you're helping other children and their families too. You are a great example of living and support a big sister. Congratulations for the launching of such a powerful platform. Thank you so much. I love you.
Hello there. My name is Bolore, CEO of EIB Network and Empire Ghana. Autism is not a choice. Acceptance is. And that is why this Friday we are all supporting a great cause. supporting Miss Universe Ghana 2020, Chelsea Tayui, as she launches the autism campaign. And of course, I really want you to be there and let's support a good cause. Thank you.
Thank you. A big round of applause. Wow.
I didn't know that was put together.
Yeah. And William, for somebody who does public speech, I think he's an amazing story. Let's do it one more time. And of course, this could have been achieved by a super and a wonderful mother like Beatrice, who's here with us. Please go for her. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to dedicate some 2 or 3 minutes to my friends from the media, my colleagues, for anybody who has any questions to ask. Well, I guess that the conversations that we have had are, very self-explanatory. But before that, your mom, yeah. Beatrice, please go ahead. Sure.
What can I say as Mary? Bow down. Seriously. I'm actually speechless at your story. Because being a spectrum, it ranges from mild to extreme. And it makes me almost feel like I have nothing. So, how do we make this a tabletop conversation? Where do we, as Ghana, come in? How do we embrace this? We've embraced breast cancer, arthritis, heart disease, and the list goes on and on. What would be your recommendation to make this a formidable disorder that gets the attention of every single person, such that we can all participate and bring some kind of normalcy and make this another arthritis, which is a chronic illness, and make it another hypertension? Because if families are breaking and we're hiding in closets, that speaks volumes about our society. So, what kind of solutions can we bring to the table?
Thank you very much. I always use my own as an example. I think the stigma is so huge, and we need to find a way to break down the stigma. It's so huge. So, for instance, I write letters to children asking for opportunity to talk about autism. And then, you write these letters and follow up, and then you go and they give you 3 minutes. And you ask yourself, what can you say within that 3 minutes? I've been writing letters to clinics, the antenatal clinics. You notice that really not the antenatal clinics. I'll try and project my voice. Hello, can you hear me?
Sure.
So, the antenatal clinics, I've been going around teaching expectant mothers what to expect. Because I noticed that they know every time. Okay, on my view. So, parents know about motor milestones. So, a parent who has a child at 1 year, if that child is not crawling at 1, you see them running. Because they know that when a child is 6 months, they're supposed to be able to sit up. When a child is 9 months, they should be able to hold something and stand up. When a child is 12 months to 18 months, we expect that that child should be able to at least, take a step. So parents are very quick to seek solutions. If a child is 1.5 years and not walking, so they know that. Even when it comes to feeding, they know. But when it comes to communication milestones, not much is said about that. So I believe that these conversations conversations need to start even from the antenatal clinics, in our hospitals and schools and even training colleges. When I was in training college, I'm a teacher by profession. All the traditional disabilities were part of our curriculum. So we had hearing impaired, it was part of it. And I never saw autism. Okay? So this is very important because the more we talk about it, the more people get to hear about it. 2nd of April is World Autism Day. I have been going around asking parents, let us share our stories. Yesterday, we're going through a lot with my daughter. I think it was to do with hormones. I've tried homeopathy, I've done diet. In my house, we don't eat, we don't take no sugar, a whole lot. And we are on a very restricted diet. Like my husband would say, what is life if it's full of care? Everything you need to take care of. And so I put up a video on Facebook talking about the challenges I was facing. Definitely my people come to attack you. Why do you have to talk about it? The more you talk about it, the more the devil will find the platform to attack you more. And I'm like, what devil? Please, let's speak. If you are very spiritual, pray to your God for me. I need it. I'll run to you if you can, because you have no idea what I'm going through. What you see is that beautiful girl who gets up in the morning and takes my eyeliners and shoes and dresses up and looking for things to make her look beautiful. And now she's even started looking at boys. So the fact that she has all these challenges, life processes don't wait. So she notices people, you understand? She started looking at my driver, and so don't go there. But you see, she has she's not afraid of anything. And in the house is so difficult. So I believe that we need to start a conversation. But how do I break the stigma? If the very people I want to talk to, kind of raises hands against me, how do you open up? When we went up there in the office, you saw the way I opened up, and I was like, at least finally I can talk to somebody. Because all these parents are coming to me and talking to me like I'm a superhero. Deep down inside, I am like, hurry up and finish and go, because I am also dying. I need somebody to talk to. So you didn't invite me, but look at the way I felt, this is it. Let me talk. And I said, Auntie, this is what I'm going through. You have no idea that 30 minutes out there, what it did for me. What about the other person? Okay? It is very important. I may be so, lucky that I have sons that support me. Let me give you one example that I will not forget. My husband is a housemaster at Achimota School when we've been there for almost 17 years. And so at night, my daughter doesn't sleep. So throughout the night, she will just cry and make noise. And when they get up and they go to school, at the classroom, the friends will ask, who is that girl who cries at night? And so my son said, I don't know her, I don't know her. And then I saw my son crying. I said, Mom, what is this? Mom, today I denied knowing Amanda. Oh. If a brother could go to that, that level of denying a own sister. And so he said, Mom, I feel very guilty. I said, what can we do? He said, I'd like to openly talk about it because I don't want to feel ashamed about my sister anymore. My sons are young men now. I'm sure very soon they might have been seeing girls around. And so I go like, what if? And that's my fear. What if I'm not here? What if I die? I change Nanaya 7 days every month. When she's in her menses, she doesn't even know when her dresses are stained. So who does this for me? What about if the person there, it's not a genuine person? Can't they take advantage? My daughter is very beautiful, I'm not boasting. She is, if you see her right now. And so I'm like, so this has been the fear with them. Anytime that drops on my heart, I'm like, I rebuke it. I keep rebuking anyway, and I rebuke autism. So please, we need to stop, the stigma. It's very important. Sometimes you can't even go anywhere. I have no friends. Because you come to my house and Anaya will come smelling you. The very moment you sit down, she'll come smell your armpit, and that's a way of getting to know. She smells you and then she feels comfortable, she knows yourself. But who does that? Who does that? So I think it's very important that we start a conversation, break the stigma. Now let's also look for places that parents like myself can just walk in and open up. Because it's not anybody you want to go and start talking about these things. And these are issues that we feel. It affects our marriage. If you go 1 week without sleep, how do you enjoy sex? I'm sorry. And so definitely your husband is also being affected. And if your husband is, look, I'm not able to talk about these things because my husband has given me that opportunity. There are a lot of parents who say, Auntie Mary, yes, I'm going through, but I don't have the permission of my husband to talk about these things because nobody in the family knows that we have a child with autism. I've had parents who come to the center, that is why they put their uniform on for their children. Why? Because when they were coming, they don't want the driver to know that. Even when you came there, you didn't see the signboard at the adult side. Because nobody wants to know that that is where the children with autism are. That is how huge the stigma is. But can we continue to hide it? So we need to break this.
Well, as I mentioned, the story is very vast. What we see and hear from experience today just goes to tell us that it's only a minute fraction of the real big picture. Just before we wrap up, Chelsea, I would like you to take us through the explanation about logo and the whole number.
Sure. So, as you can see, this is my Autism Awareness Campaign, and the world through our eyes. We had a lot of time to choose that say. We were dabbling between a lot of different ones, but this one is very prominent, especially to our family who has William, and I'm sure to you who has Mary, and to any adult parent who has a child with autism. Yeah, so in the head of a person who has autism, in their mind, they see things differently. And what I mean by that is because their sensory is affected by autism, they cannot really cope or understand with life as we know it. It's going to take an extra dose of compassion. It will take an extra dose of care. It will take an extra dose of heart, really. And I just really encourage you all to open up your souls, open up your mind, just to see things how they see things, especially when you're dealing with them. Currently, I'm working on raising funds for a bus to donate to an autism school because they need to have decent transportation as well, and it's really not safe to have them compacted in public transportation, especially with the world as we know it today. So I'm working diligently on that before I leave for Miss Universe, and hopefully it gets done before I go, that they will have a decent place to ride and to get to and from where they're going.
So, just a little more directly, there's loads of people who are joining us virtually, those people here who want to support with physical resources, like the one was asking. How do they get this done if they have the support and they want to get in touch with the campaign?
So, kindly contact me through the Miss Universe Ghana organization via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, and then they will get to me eventually. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you for gracing the occasion this late afternoon. As we said, and as we've heard, there's a lot to do. The picture is even bigger than we see it. But of course, with the hope and with the resolve, we can all get somewhere. There's a lot of support to give, and as we've been told, the Miss Universe Ghana organization will be ready to come along with you and to receive whichever support that you are ready to give for this campaign and push Chelsea's agenda of making sure that we understand autism as a challenge in our society. So ladies and gentlemen, just before I take my seat and we wrap all of this up, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of David Joe Smith. So please put your hands together for him. And so once again, it's very important. We learn a very big and important lesson here that sometimes family makes the biggest impression. And I'm very glad to see that the family was here to give massive support to this idea. And of course, this ripple effects on all of us, in a sense, all of us, a wonderful lesson. So once again, thank you all very much. We're going into a weekend. Do have a wonderful weekend, and do remember to say a prayer for Chelsea, and also do remember to lend a hand of support to the Autism Awareness Campaign. Thank you very much. My name is Nathaniel.
One of the primary myths, especially here in Ghana, is the fact that if a child has autism, especially in the rural areas and communities, it's seen as a curse that's sent from the spiritual gods, which is never the case. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that impairs communication and social interaction. Last year, in 2020, there was a family in the Volta region who poisoned their own child who had autism and killed the child due to lack of awareness on what autism was. I didn't see any outrage. I didn't see any backlash. We need to stay away from shielding our children from society because that is not going to make the situation any better. It instead makes us more vulnerable to not knowing enough about the autism spectrum disorder. Another myth is that there is a special diet to cure autism, and this could not be further from the truth. Children with autism need to maintain a balanced, healthy diet, especially with organic foods, because they have certain sensory needs that they don't already have because they have autism. People of all ages will experience autism. Therefore, it is of utmost importance for everyone to know how to treat someone who has autism. Bring them close, make them your friends, never isolate them, never criticize them, never be unkind to them. Together we can make an impact through action, and by action we make a huge difference. Another myth is that people with autism have a special diet that they need to stick to or that can cure autism. Everyone needs to maintain a healthy diet, but kids with autism need a very balanced one with healthy organic foods and a lot of nutrients and a lot of enzymes as well. Here in Ghana, we seriously need to target our school systems because currently there is no curriculum for the children with autism in any school. Therefore, most of them do not go to school. The speech training that they require in their early years is not available, and therefore it's hard to gauge where to place them on the spectrum without that significant impact in their early years. Currently, there are barely any teachers in Ghana who are certified to help train children with autism. Therefore, the lack of awareness gap gets wider and wider and wider. We need huge fundraising in order to help families who cannot afford to send their children to school, especially if they have autism. We need to help them increase the noise level and spread awareness. I'm currently raising funds to purchase a bus to help children with their transportation in certain schools who have a lot of children with disabilities, some with autism, some with cerebral palsy, and some with Down syndrome. My name is Chelsea Tayui, Miss Universe Ghana 2020, and join me as we together efface the stigma of autism not only in Ghana but around the world. Thank you.